What is going on, guys? Just getting the stream set up. Welcome to the Sunday Night Football stream. Hey, Josh. What's going on, Zit? Yes, you are correct. The Jets did win. They won a game. They prevent themselves from going winless. One of the rare games where it's a huge double-digit underdog, and I wasn't on it. But congratulations to the Jets and their fans for the win. And the Chiefs win outright, and depending on where you got the line, you might have covered. In the contest, we had the Saints +4, so that was a nice cover. Sorry, guys, just getting everything set up. Yeah, 17 points is too much. I think it was just how they played last week, and plus, I'm not sure how it closed. Let's take a look at how the Jets closed, but I think the public might have been on the Jets. Yeah, so they had 41% of bets. So the sharp or public bettors did come in on the Rams closer to kickoff, but sorry, guys, I'm just getting myself sorted out. Yeah, so Jets ended up with 41% of the bets, but 25% of the money. Just not quite a contrarian play for me, so I left the Jets alone. And other than today, the Jets actually had more bets on them up till Saturday night, so a lot of people came in on them pretty late, which is to be expected, right? There's going to be more square bettors betting right before kickoff, and usually that's when a game like that will take their public bets. I took Chubb over 74.5 yards just to feel something. Nice bet. Saw Raybon's take. Took a drop off to 7-7 with the midday games, but not sure why I laid the Rams points. Yeah, 10-10 is not a bad deal for money line, especially that they won. It looks pretty good now. Let's go Dolphins 9-5, and let's win the last two games to make sure Ravens don't make it. That would be pretty awesome. I'm a Dolphins fan this year, MVP. The last year and a half, I've really liked Flores and what he's done. Zivona said, although that minus 2,000 is a sucker's bet for the Rams. I would agree. Dolphins beating the Raiders next to be 10-5. That would be pretty awesome. Oh, no shit. Ryan took Jets money line for 1 unit. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Important players.
All right. Here's a look at the Browns Giants information before kickoff. So the best line it looks like you can get right now is Giants plus 6.5 at Bet365. Some other books you can get Browns -6 depending on which side you like. The public is definitely on the Browns. 73% of bettors on the Browns, only 27% on the Giants. So that's the reason why I've got 2 units on the Giants, but a ton of money has come in late on the Browns. So if you were to bet it right now, I'd only recommend 1 unit on the Giants just because it looks like sharps are on the Browns. The line has moved in the Browns' favor, so only a 1 unit play on the Giants because of contrarian factors. And then for the OU, it looks like there's nice value on the under, even at 44.5. 28% of bettors, but 50% of the dollars wagered. And then even on the money line, a lot of people are on the Browns. So public is very heavy on the Browns tonight. Heavy on the Browns. Public's heavy on the overs. So let's hope for a scrappy game where the Browns win by 3. Low scoring. Oh, it's too bad, Josh, about not being able to get down on Flores Coach of the Year. Josh needs Ravens for his Super Bowl future. Bonjour, football fans. What's going on, Untouchable? What do I think about the Pittsburgh game? I think that there's excellent value on the Steelers as a contrarian play. 2 unit. I'll probably be doing 2 units on the Bengals if it stays as is. As well as probably... Technically, right now, it'd be a close play on the under as well. Jags disappointed today betting on them. Yeah, it's fine, though. It's a loss. Some you win, some you lose, and that was a loss today. Yeah, the Adam Gase meme has a whole new meaning. Yeah, we had the Saints covering. We were 8-6 this week in the contest, so the contest went really well. Why is Hawkinson the leader for NFC tight ends again? I'm not sure. He's probably just opportunity. Josh Allen, elite coach, 6-7 this week. Michigan, that's all right. There's still a couple games to go. Under strong play as of now with the market. Yeah, the market, the under's looking pretty good. So I did 2 units on the Giants plus 6.5, and I did 2 units on under 44.5. I'm not going to be mad if the Browns win. I'll be fine with it. I'm more of a fan of the Browns than the Giants, that's for sure. No Danny Dimes tonight. He is out. It's going to be Colt McCoy with the start. But let me just check Roto-World to see if we can get some news on that just to make sure. Because I'm going off of news earlier. Yeah, Daniel Jones is inactive. There's not really anybody else on the Giants to be worried about being inactive other than even Evan Ingram's going to be playing. Colt McCoy gets the start. Giants are going to be missing their slot corner, Darnay Holmes, so watch out for that. And then for the Cleveland Browns, let's take a look. David Njoku is active. Austin Hooper is active. Denzel Ward is active. Marvin Hall, Andrew Sendejo, Robert Jackson, Mac Wilson, Wyatt Teller, and Joe Jackson are inactive. So there's actually a a few players there for the Browns that are going to be inactive, especially Wyatt Teller. Wyatt Teller is he's one of the guys, one of the rare offensive line. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's one of the rare players that would move the line that a lot of people don't know about. So just a heads up there on Wyatt Teller being out for the Browns. Josh hoping for a shootout. Colt McCoy revenge game going up against the Browns. Ryan took the Cardinals -6. Well, it finished real nice because I'm pretty sure they won by 7. Bengals quarterback Finley is yuck, but is Big Ben even doing better into this part of the season or worse? I think Ben's played terrific this year, but he might be struggling as of late, but I'm not that worried about Ben. Ryan says the Browns-Giants game is going over. We tend to support very similar teams. We have very similar philosophies on how we like teams to play, and the reason why we like the Browns so much is just we've been betting the Browns so much throughout the years because they've been perennial underdog contrarian plays, and the Browns have made us lots of money, so it's been a team that we've really enjoyed, but I think they've kind of passed the torch off. Teams I like right now are Carolina, Washington, and who's the other team? Carolina, Washington, and Miami. I really enjoy watching Miami. I like Flores. The guy doing the playoff odds on NBC pregame is so nerdy looking and going hard at his job. Yeah, that's what I'd have to do if I wanted to be on TV, Josh. Sell my soul. Fat guy said he's going to be here momentarily. Giants feel like the ultimate contrarian play today. Yeah, it's shaping up to be pretty good. There's actually been, even since I looked away and looked back, there's been a lot of sharp money coming in on the Giants. So I would definitely recommend a 2-unit play on the Giants, 2-unit play on the under. Those are going to be my plays for today, at least for this game. I took a hard loss in my fantasy league for my money league, as the fat guy likes to say. So that was disappointing, but the guy I played put up 140-something fantasy points and still has the Browns defense, so it's not much I can do. But fantasy is such a toss-up, guys. I was only in 2 leagues this year, the one for the channel and that money league, and I went 9-4 in both and lost first game playoffs. It's just how the breaks are. Even like I've talked about it with Fat Guy before, because even with let's say it's a 10-team league, to make the math easy, pretty much everybody at the start has 10% chance to win. And even with all the knowledge and all the homework and pregame, like preseason stuff that the Fat Guy and I do, our odds might be up to like 14 or 15%. There's just way too much luck that goes into fantasy to even get an edge. Not a good betting day, Josh. I was down what? I think I was down 5 units at the early games. There's quite a few large unit plays today, and they just didn't pan out. And then these late games, I think I'm down 1 unit. But a couple of those were money line plays. So like I had Saints money line because the spread was at 2.5. So I'd rather get the money line than the 2.5, and even a 2.5 spread on the Saints would have lost. But if you bet it early in the week when the Saints were 4-point underdogs before they announced that Breeze was going to be playing, it would have been a winner. But that's how it goes sometimes. I rarely do over-under plays, and I did like 4 of them today, and I think I only hit on 2. I think I was 2 and 3 on over-unders. I took the Jags but passed on the Lions. Lions had a way better chance to cover. Yeah, Jags and Lions were 2 of my 2 big losses today early on, so that was 6 units I lost between those 2. Oh, I'm sure Dylan will be here. I'm sure Dylan's going to show up and give us his 2 cents. Looks like we've got the fat guy joining us now. What's going on, fat guy?
Hello.
I see that you're not rocking the green screen today.
No, I broke it when I was moving. I got to fix it. I wasn't able to do it in time, so. Well, it seems like me in anything, so.
I changed my setup here a little bit. Not that you guys can tell, but gave myself a little more space. How'd you feel about today's games?
I don't know. I didn't like any of the closing lines, so I think those were a lot of errors could have been made on the closing ones, in my opinion. Other than that, it's okay. I think down a little bit, not much. Surprised at the Jets. Like, I'm very surprised at that. I didn't like. I actually thought they had a reasonable chance at covering. Not that I was going to wager on it, but I didn't think they'd win a game because, like, I don't know. Like, there's just so many, like, not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but, like, the Patriots game, I thought they lost on purpose, it almost looked like, and I'd never seen that before. What's the other game? The Raiders game, like, what was that? I don't know. And then all of a sudden now they're, the Jags are, what, 2-3 games away from getting the first overall pick, which potentially is is Trevor Lawrence and potentially a future quarterback, which is worth so much. So I don't know. I'm very confused at all of this. Did the players just have a day regardless of coaching for the Jets? Is that possible?
It's definitely possible. It's not like the Rams played like gangbusters either. They were mistake-ridden and played poorly. I know a lot of people hate on Goff, and Goff's average to me, but he had one of his, it's one of those, he's inconsistent, let's put it that way. You don't know what you're going to get every single week from Jared Goff. Uh, 8-6 in the contest, fat guy. So it's a good week for us. And something else to highlight: Cassone in the lead, 11-3 this week. He has a 9-game lead on Jackson.
It's just it's pretty impressive. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
Cassone hitting at 62%.
Yeah. This is quite a year. I wouldn't have foreseen anyone doing that well in this contest.
That makes 2 of us. We are up to 13th overall, so we're climbing up to that top 10.
Well, there you go. That's always good. I'm just enamored more about, like, how important opening lines are. Like, I don't know. I'm more I'm just interested in it. Let's put it that way. Because I feel like the Saints was a really bad bet if you bet on the closing line.
Yeah, I managed. I got down on the Saints money line because it was 2.5. It's an unfortunate result, but I'd make.
I
That
think it
bet
was a
again.
bad decision, though. I wouldn't make that bet again. That's like one I disagree with. I think I think Saints 4 was or 3.5 was a good line. They Saints lost by 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You know what's weird about this game? I I don't see the Giants as big underdogs here.
No, and it's the money swing has been pretty wild.
Yeah.
We've got 28% of bettors are on the Giants spread, and 38% of the dollars are on the Giants spread. But that was at 22% just minutes ago. So a ton of money came down on the Browns to push the Giants down to 22%, and then a ton of money came in on the Giants just after it.
So the resistance point would be here. Let's talk about that because I bring it up in the bet market video every Sunday, and sometimes I bring it up in the spread video. But there's always like buyback. Do you know what I mean? There's resistance points from pro bettors. So what numbers can we deduce that they really like that? What juice?
Well, it's been at 6 or 6.5 for the last. It's been swinging around, so I'm guessing a lot of sharps got it at 6.5.
Yeah,
that's what I ended up on. But I'm guessing at 6 they probably had a bunch of buyback on the Browns, and then at 6.5 it looks like even more buyback on the Giants. But the line didn't really waver too much. You're just looking at different books to get those different numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 6 at really good juice is fine too, to be honest. That half point doesn't tickle my fancy as much, but I might not have as much data in this brain of mine that someone in front of a computer screen might. Oh man, great return by the Giants. How much further did that go? 10 yards?
I feel like he ran backwards about 20 yards, Dion Lewis. But a really nice start for the Giants.
Bonjour. Yeah, Dylan beat me in fantasy. How did Traquan Smith do? Because I was going to switch him and I didn't.
I think really poorly. I didn't see the end of the game, but he only had one catch up to like the third quarter.
That was my only possible switch. He got 1 for 25. He would have got me 7.7 more points, which would have been a moot point anyways.
I was close to picking up Traquan Smith as well, but I did some research into what the over-unders were on all the different receivers and selected from there, and Emmanuel Sanders was the best choice.
How did he do?
He didn't do terrific. I think he had 50 yards or something like that. I'm not sure what he put up after that. What's going on, Fear?
Did you do that in conjunction with touchdown percentage?
Oh, yeah. He was like minus, I think he was like plus 150 to get a touchdown, and he actually had the best odds for touchdowns and for yards out of all the players.
Huh.
Like Traquan Smith was, I don't know, like plus 300 for a touchdown. So it was the play to make out of the opportunities that I had. What's going on, Max?
Why don't people do stuff like that? You see that third down play just now from the Giants? A quick handoff to fullback. Any kid who's played Madden runs that play consistently. It's third and short. Your fullback's heavier. Often probably the lowest center of gravity with weight. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. It's the hot tub himself, Jeff Roblo, in the comment section. Wow.
What's going on, Jeff?
I hope the hot tub's hot enough to keep the virus out. I'm glad it's at 102.
Hey, congrats, Fear. That's awesome to hear that you made the championship.
Yeah, good for you. Oh, he's a Cancun. Fantastic. Hot tub is back. Free play, free play. I don't see a flag, though. Wow.
Jeff, did you manage to travel down to Cancun, or have you been down there this entire time? The hot tub is back. Whew.
That was an expert play from Colt McCoy. And that's why I said earlier in the week, I said I preferred the Giants with Colt McCoy, and not because his ceiling is higher, it's certainly not, but his basement is a lot higher for win probability because he's been in so many systems, right? And he's been serviceable, let's say. These are some good throws, though. Wow. And the other thing I like about Colt McCoy is I feel there's a less chance of a turnover, and you do have I find him to be like a competent veteran. So this is nice. And I was saying that it could adversely affect the line, even though if anything, he's probably 1.5 points better than Daniel Jones as far as win probability against a team that's comparable. I do like if the game was again if they were playing the Chiefs, I would much prefer Daniel Jones because you need a high ceiling performance, and Daniel Jones is more likely to produce that in a game against I would essentially call two strong running teams. I like the Giants with Colt McCoy. So
I like the double meaning there, Mickey. Well, it's good to hear, Jeff. It's nice to hear that you're able to get on a plane. Sounds like you're doing safe. So, hell yeah, enjoy your time in Cancun.
Yeah, exactly, Fear. Like McCoy's not blowing your hair back, but I don't care about that. I don't care about looking good. I see a run gap on this 3rd and 5. I'm surprised they pulled a running back out or to the flat. That's okay. That's okay. They took almost above average drive over the 4-minute mark. We're going to get a field goal here probably. I'm okay with this. Hey, have a good one, Jeff. It was really, really glad that you jumped in. Oh, I saw in the Discord, Max. I think that's an excellent price. I would be happy wagering multiple units on that.
Enjoy some tequila boom booms for we've got a fake here.
What was that? What just happened?
It was a fake punt, and Dixon incomplete out the back of the end zone. So Browns are going to start with the ball in bad field position in a tie game.
Man, take the 3 there. This is a tough game.
I
don't think you need to do that. I really do. You're throwing a pass to the punter. If you're playing the Chiefs, I get it. You're playing the Cleveland Browns.
You know what was interesting about that is that the coach was signaling this, which usually means to huddle up. And I found that weird. Like if you're going to run the field goal team out there, which it wouldn't be a fake punt, it would be a fake field goal, and you're doing stuff like that on the sidelines, isn't it kind of obvious on the other side that you're probably something's up? Because you don't signal that kind of stuff. I always wondered like what it looks like on the sidelines if they're about to run a fake, because I want to know who's privy. Like, do they tell all the players? Like, do people know? Like, do they plan it over the week that, hey, this is going to be a fake punt coming up? I'm very interested in that kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure that they always have a fake punt they could call, and they call it at the line. You know what I mean? Or maybe when they're getting on the field. That was good for the under. I thought that was really, really bad and unnecessary. Usually I'm a proponent for going in on fourth down, but it's got to be a spot. Like, if you're playing a high octane team, you know what I mean? I advocate, if you're playing the Chiefs, go for it on every fourth down. I honestly think that's better. I think the Browns you can keep in line. Even though the Browns have a very strong running game, I don't know. I would definitely take the 3. Chiefs, if you're at 4th and 20, I still think that's the right play. They can score so quickly on anybody. They're very good. I mean, that's essentially what the Raiders did when they beat them. They extended these drives. Yeah, I did. The Saints. That would have put them over the top in theory. Yeah. Wasn't the first play of the game for the Eagles a safety too?
I'm not 100% sure. I know Cardinals did. Their first score was a safety, but I'm not sure what play it came on.
I feel like this team makes an effort to tackle better the Giants. I know I'm pumping them up quite a bit, but it's I've just noticed higher effort for the most part. I saw some stuff in the Carolina game last night that made me really disgusted. Trey Boston was playing safety, and he did that stupid thing where rather than come and attack the offensive player that's running, he did that like back up and pedal and just gave up 25 yards.
That drives me crazy.
And the other thing too is, even if he misses a little bit, he's gonna slow the guy down enough because there's 3 guys in pursuit. Like, just come at him like a missile. And I don't know why they don't almost tackle at an angle so there's more body space. So there's an injury from the Browns player, so it looks like it's going to be 3rd and 2.
It's Chris Hubbard, and Wyatt Teller's already out. So if they lose Chris Hubbard and Wyatt Teller, that right-hand side's going to be could be a problem for the Browns moving forward.
I'm with Zaps on it. Yeah. The one thing though is there's no home run pass rusher for the Giants. Like, they don't have that guy.
It's not even pass rush though; it's running the ball. The Browns have been so successful running the ball, and everyone knows the superstars of Chubb and Hunt, but it's the offensive line that really gets it done for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say they add both of them almost add a yard over your traditional running back, but that's not enough. I agree. I feel good about the Giants today. I really do.
That's been an excellent start for them so far.
Yeah. The Eagles didn't cover. Is it just like one thing that really annoyed me last year? Yeah, sorry, Tony. Do you remember last year? Andy Dalton said, "If I'm not a starter in this league, I want to on this team. I want to be traded." Like, talk about not knowing your own value, right? Not realizing that you're really just a backup or a bridge starter. And then Carson Wentz is there. There's that report today. Obviously, I know Big Rye's not on reports, but he said they say that he said that if he's not the starter, he wants out. like, why do the players have the power to do that? They sign a contract, and it's not like if their play doesn't dictate starting, like why can't you just say that? If anything, that hurts your value too. Like, why don't they just deal with it internally? Did he make that catch? That was impressive. Kareem Hunt took a lick, but he was able to make the first down.
Yeah, Fear. The NBA starts on the 22nd, and we're going to be doing market videos for the NBA. So watch out for that, guys, and make sure to check out the channel and catch what we talk about for the NBA betting markets.
I'm not surprised that the Bears did that, because realistically, they just had a bad performance on offense. Offensive line has obviously improved a little bit because they put up a lot of points the last few weeks, but the play at least has improved. But I think the Bears and the Vikings are very interchangeable teams as far as team strength. Vikings are a little bit more offense focused, and obviously Bears are more defense focused. But they're a 3-point either way, so I don't think it's out of this world for that to happen. Oh, nice play.
A few weeks ago, guys, when we watched that Bears game, I was complaining a lot about the offensive line play from the Bears, but it looks like they've dedicated themselves to running the ball or establishing the run. I know Montgomery had like 32 carries today.
Yeah, he did.
Something crazy like that, and that's, you never want to put that much on a running back unless your name's Derrick Henry. But it's nice to see that the Bears are just dedicating themselves to the run, because they're going to win games if they can control the clock and limit the amount of possessions for that defense, because the defense is really good.
Cassone here, wow, with a very humble and very great comment here. If anyone takes a read rather than me reading it out, the king is in the house is right, Mickey, and he's had just a wonderful year. Very impressive from Cassone.
Yeah, Cassone, congrats, man. I was talking about it earlier. You're at 11-3 this week. There's something that you got cooking in the back of your mind, maybe in your subconscious, that's killing it this year.
A little bit of luck, a little bit of wisdom goes a long way. We got a flea flicker. Oh,
a flea flicker to a screen, which is very unique.
That Hooper could have got tackled for a loss there. That was a nice play. Little wiggle from him, eh?
I don't hear any reports, or maybe they're talking about it now. Can you guys let us know if Hubbard's out or if he's questionable to return?
They just showed him. He's going to the locker room, Big Rye. It doesn't look good. So the guy replacing him, Nick Harris, has yet to have a snap. I'm in charge of T-shirts, Cassone. I got a sweater on your way right now. So I don't know what else I could send you if you win this week again. How is he going to win the contest 3 weeks in a row? What a champ. Or 3 weeks over the year? That's crazy.
He's on pace.
No! Good play at the line. Who is that? Dexter Lawrence? That's fantastic. Tip the ball. Wow. 2 fourth downs. I understand the Browns' fourth down going for it a lot more. Okay. Hooper was open. So, Giants standing up on defense. Probably, I would say the defense playing above expectation the most in the league, I feel, is the Giants. Because I felt, roster-wise, I felt they had a bottom 2 defense. And they're playing like a top 12 defense. So, they of course, they're missing a lot of talent. They need some pass rushers. The Giants, 'do. 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 Bradbury might have become that, Zaps. It's possible. I don't think it's that cut and dry, Beard. Because think about it, like the way that the Browns offense and I would say the Matt Ford coaching staff, it's less about Baker because they've really made this game about as easy as possible for them. Because if they get if their run game is sustainable against a strong team, they have a good chance of winning. Like, because that's how you beat the Chiefs. So you don't try and gunsling against them. It's just never going to work. You have to do it with time of possession. And the Browns are one of the stronger teams at pulling that off. So a very interesting stat. I think the Browns are second in average length of drives, which really helps, and that's reflected in their record. Oddly enough, the Patriots are up there, but the Patriots have been doing this better than anybody for 10 years at least, time of possession more or less. But the Patriots were dynamic. They could score quickly as well as hold the ball. The Browns, I don't find as a score quick team. So it really depends if they're able to sustain drives. Also, the Browns have to know to gamble in the playoffs. They're not good enough not to go for it on fourth down. I like how that's funny, that it's a funny concept. You have to be good to punt. You know what I mean? And the Browns I don't think are good enough in a playoff format to be punting too often. And point in case, look, they just went for it and didn't get it, but that doesn't matter. The math aligns with them doing that. Not my type of play call, but it doesn't matter. Thank you, Casone. Thank you for checking in. The champ is here. Thank you for participating this year. Oh,
What a tackle by Larry
what a tackle.
Ogunjobi.
Do you think that was a face mask? Was that close? They're not arguing, so
Just
probably
looked
not.
like he clotheslined him.
Yeah, it did kind of look like that. So Freddie Kitchens is the OC today, considering Jason Garrett has COVID, I believe. Funny revenge game for McCoy and Kitchens, if anything. Great run. I'm sorry. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. I don't know if you guys noticed that it's more apparent than ever considering the lack of fans. But the cadence of McCoy he's really trying to get another free play there. It's very impressive. Very impressive here. They're using they're using his skill sets right now. Yeah.
I'm starting to think that being able to use your cadence, and this is with the loss of fans, makes a pretty big difference to the offense.
Yes! I'm a Browns fan. I almost went all Browns gear as like a funny troll, and then I decided last second not to do that, just be neutral. I can't stick it to my own guys, but I bet on the Giants. What do you want me to do? And yes, Jake, when there's a strong run, I like it. A strong run up the gut, it's great. And I remember watching football as a kid and thinking it's so stupid. Why do they do that? And I understand now why, even maybe more so than some of the coaching staff, why it's important. You know why I almost don't mind that throw there, even though it's useless to take? The clock runs. They keep the ball, and it's no real gain. Maybe you lose half a yard, but I think the keeping the ball in bounds is important.
The reason why I get excited too, it's just I show it a little less for those runs up the middle, is like the clock running. Like if you're the underdog, like you want to stretch this game out as long as possible. You want as little touches for both sides, and you want to make the most out of those touches. And if you can run the ball at the middle for 4 yards every play, like you're going to win the game. That's just how it works.
Dropped in the end zone. Evan Ingram Fantastic play by the Giants, just didn't come to fruition. And the other big ride, that's a basketball concept. Lowering possessions. Like, because if you know a team's better than you, they've been doing that in the NBA for 30 years?
Well, they got away from it with the 7 seconds or less offense, made popular by Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash. But outside of that, there was definitely incentive before. Now it's changed, and like you can make the argument, like I know for football, there's a lot more expected points from being able to throw the ball than being able to run the ball, but expected points and winning games are two different things.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because there's a paradigm, because you got to play defense too, right? And they're separate units of your team, right? Like it's different.
But early on, Colt McCoy's really challenging the corners on the outside. It's probably how the Browns are forcing the ball, or at least like playing single on the outside with no help. So if that's what they're going to give him, it's nice to see that the Giants are willing to take the shots if they feel like that's their best opportunity.
I think aside from that fourth down play, it's been a really well done job by the Giants. They could have easily put a touchdown up that drive. Very close. I don't know. It's rare that you find a team that loses just enough that gives you enough points where you feel confident each week.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's funny though, now that I say that, Cleveland Browns like 10 years ago were like this. They would lose by just enough all the time. So shoes on the other foot, I guess.
Yeah, I talked about that exact point just before you joined, because someone was saying to me that because I took the Giants in the under, so people were saying I'd be pretty upset if the Browns lost, and I'm like, I'm a Browns fan, so I wouldn't be upset. I actually like the Browns more than I like the Giants, and the reason why you and I like the Browns is because there was so much value on them over the last 10 years, and you and I won a lot of money because of that.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Browns. So
that's how I started. There was a year the Browns went, for me, 12-4 ATS, but they only went 4-12. What does that tell you? That was the first year I bet football with a contrarian style, and that was my first winning year. The first two I bet like a square, and my money obviously left my hands. And then I learned the hard way, and I adjusted, and I went to the other side. Not saying that's the only way to do things, but it's the only way I know how to successfully beat football over a long term. I was taking getting good prices, going contrarian, and the Browns were a team that just got way too many points all the time. And the best part is they kept up that like for some reason being close, like covering when you lose by 3 and then covering when you win by 3, there's a big difference, even though there's a cover. But in the eyes of the square, they still lost that game. Therefore, even though there's no difference, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, well, they were financial victories, Jay. They still lost every game, but the spread it was very good that year. Yeah, the first 2 years I started betting and I lost on football. It was worth the education. Nice hit. Was it Jabril Peppers? Woo! I gotta be that is some 3 strong defensive linemen. Here we get a little weaker here. Tay Crowder, Carter Coughlin, 2 rookies. Nice transition from Logan Ryan to safety as well. Landry looked a little bit more fleet of foot than usual on that one. He seemed quicker out the gate for me. Collingsworth said that the mantra of the D coordinator for the Giants is we're going to be tougher than everyone else. Now, I don't like, stuff that just rah stuff, with very little behind it. But that's like, I'd be hard to argue that the Giants haven't played tougher on defense than just about everybody else, more or less.
Well, watching how some of these other teams tackle and just like approach plays, like at least it feels like you're getting effort out of the Giants in every play.
Exactly. It passes the eye test for me, and I think they have, like, for instance, kind of like the old Patriots teams where, like, if there was a fumble, that those defenses were all over it, and here they just got a gang tackle on Chubb, one of the hardest guys to take down, who just had an incredible run before that. And Dylan Roberts, how are you, sir? Great to have Sharp Dylan back in the broadcast. Good job, man.
The Rams have a good team. They've one of the best coaches in the league. They've got one of the best defenses in the league. Their offense is no slouch. They lost this week.
They lost. They had a bum performance. They're capable of it. 49. 49.
It's one of those rookie linebackers.
One of the rookie linebackers. One of the weaknesses on this team. Man. That play could have been avoided big time.
Well, it's awesome when you watch a guy drop back in zone and play his zone.
Yeah, not pick anyone up.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that comes with playing a rookie linebacker.
Nice screen here. Look at that hit by Blake Martinez, though. That was great. Oh, you're looking good so far then, Ryan. Good tackle. Jeez, that's a great tackle. I don't know. I'm jacked with this team. Yeah. I got him at a good number, though. I got 3.5, Ryan, so it panned out.
Ryan Johnson had Jets money line tonight.
Oh, really?
Absolute straight from Baker Mayfield.
Zone defense getting exploited here a little bit.
And they're running a hurry up. So I think they like the matchups that they have on the field at the moment.
And
they go to a Wildcat.
That didn't seem believable at all.
Did you did you watch the Patriots Dolphins game today?
I didn't get to see very much of it, and that was a game I really wanted to watch, to be honest. If you could refresh me, I'd appreciate it.
There was a play by Miami that I loved, and they had it was, I forget what the down and distance was, but it was it was like a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. I'm not sure exactly, but they had Tua in shotgun, and I forget the player's name, but they had 2 different receivers on Miami that can play quarterback or played quarterback in college, and they brought with Tua in shotgun with an empty backfield. They brought this guy in motion, and he just stopped under center, took the snap, and did a quarterback sneak. But the genius is that because they had five players out wide, the defense was like spread out to rush the passer. So when they did get under center and they snapped the ball, like everyone had to rush to the middle and it wasn't prepared. So I thought it was an excellent design play. It kind of reminded me of what the Browns were trying to do there, except like you're really going to try to get someone to jump offside with the clock running out at the end of the first quarter. Like it's just not. You might as well try it, but like what 2% of the time that's going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably less than that. Lynn Bowden, I believe he was a quarterback.
Yeah, Bowden was, and it was Perry. I think I want to say centerized Perry, but I don't know if I'm getting him
pretty
mixed
sure that's
up
the
with.
right name. Lynn Bowden had a really interesting year. He no, centerized Perry is on
He's on the Bears.
He's on the Titans.
Or Titans, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Lynn Bowden, after training camp, or maybe it was last year rather, he got traded during training camp for to the Miami Dolphins from the Las Vegas Raiders. And then I always thought that was an interesting course of action, because maybe the Raiders cut their losses at like the right. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe that's a thing.
Sorry, say that again.
Well, they traded Lynn Bowden, the Raiders did, during training camp.
Yeah.
So maybe like that's a smart way of going. Maybe you overestimated who he was, and then you see in training pack like this isn't going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And then you at least get some value then rather than none later on, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I thought that was really interesting.
I thought Lynn Bowden has actually played really well at receiver for Miami over the last 2 weeks, and the receiver who played quarterback in college is Malcolm Perry, and he was a 7th round pick.
Wow, I got to be honest, Big Rye. If you went to Navy and you played quarterback, that's it's a little bit different of a. It's not quite a quarterback.
Appreciate it, Hale.
Look at it. Two guys immediately come with malice to come make that tackle. That's how you do it. That was excellent.
There was a few touchdowns in memory this week where guys just like truck guys over, and I couldn't believe they got in. Like if there's like 4 or 5 defenders there, you're telling me between the 5 of you can't put enough on them, and like you don't see that from the Giants, at least so far this game. They've been excellent when it comes to tackling.
Against Seattle, they played a full 60 minutes. It was fantastic. Did he get it? Yeah.
I think he did it. It was weird how it looked like he dropped the ball for a second, but I guess he did not.
That was bizarre, yeah.
Good play. Good job by the Browns. It's 1st and goal.
Wow, that was close to getting stopped. 94 had to put his arm out, and I think that would have been a stop. This guy is a great runner. He made 2 really nice moves behind the line. He didn't get anywhere because Blake Martinez made a great cleanup tackle. Another underrated player, Blake Martinez and Joe Schobert. You know, the standard aggressive, like linebacker, like not amazing, but just not afraid of contact, more or less.
I found it, like the more I think about it, I think Blake Martinez doesn't get talked about enough, which is strange to say because I feel like he is actually one of the more talked about linebackers. But I find it super impressive that in Green Bay, he was essentially the only linebacker that ever played.
Get him! Oh my goodness. That was interesting.
Well, that was just a bad decision by Baker Mayfield. Like, I don't mind him taking off, but he's got a slide there.
I thought the ball was going to come out the way he was coming out. I'm looking at this again.
He's thinking end zone, but
Dude,
he got pretty lucky there.
Dude, he could have got blown the hell up if he thought end zone.
He could have been Andy Dalton 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the other thing too is I just saw Carter Coughlin. They brought up that rookie again. It was late recognition too, because if he ran out of his zone there and he attacked the quarterback, he could have got Baker for a loss and really laid a licking on him. But I mean, it's hard to. This game moves fast, right? So,
I'm liking these new Gatorade water things that they have.
Proof timeouts.
There. It feels like we're golfing. Water Caddy should be the new name. 3rd and goal here for the Browns.
Whose zone is that?
52. He just completely lost him. I think the play action confused him. From the guys that you could see at the top of the screen, they were not tricked at all. But yeah, 52 thinks they were still running the ball.
They're gonna have to invest some more draft capital in linebacker. It's been you can get them though. Blake Martinez and Joe Schobert were projects. They're later round picks. So the story's not out on these guys, but they have hurt the Giants on defense this game and this drive multiple times.
I'm just going to quickly grab some food while this break is on. I will be back shortly.
I can do that real quick as well. Actually, you go first.
Sounds good.
I don't know what I'm doing, yeah. Oh, here we go. COVID alert app for Canadians. Yeah. I don't know about that. Yeah, it's got to be tough here. I'm gonna go look at the Giants roster because they're very thin at linebacker, and clearly they're putting an emphasis on coverage linebackers. I mean, just with the defenses they've been calling. Yeah, these guys aren't high draft picks. They have 4 rookies here. So Cam Brown is a 6th round pick. Wow, they drafted him all this year. 4 draft picks that the Giants used on this. So Cam Brown, Carter Coughlin, Tay Crowder, and TJ Brunson. All 2020 draft picks. Cam Brown being a 6th rounder and the rest being all 7th. So, I mean, I don't know how much draft capital that is, but maybe they're doing a volume approach. You know, we draft 4 guys, maybe one will work out. Yeah, I could understand that, Zaps, but I still prefer from a win probability metric. I think adding a tackle is just far better. Not that I don't think Isaiah Simmons is a great athlete and interesting. I don't know if he'd be right for the role that they want him to play. Wow. I was probably my mom, Josh Allen. This is weird. I really like this. And then that Devontae Downs, the one who made the unfortunate play on that touchdown. Let's see where he's from. He was waived by Minnesota, and he was a practice squad Minnesota player, and then he got waived, activated, then waived, and then signed to the practice squad of the Giants, and now he's activated. I don't know what happened here. Wow, close one for the Giants because that's how you lose games. And I don't like their chances of coming back rather when they're really down. Like this is fine; it's a 4-point game. But I want to take another look at this at the fumble. Dion Lewis did this, I think, last. Wow, he got smoked. I like this run play. Boy, do I like that run play. That was great. Yeah, it does look like that, Josh. I think he's being a baby about it. You lose your job because of performance. And the other thing too is it's not like he didn't get a fair shake. He played awful this year. He was simply awful. And the other guy that took over, Jalen Hurts, has done the opposite. He has been great. He has been successful. He's been bankable too. And how could he expect a coach to honestly look the other players in the eye and go with him over the way Jalen Hurts has been playing? They better mark him to this first down. Let's see. I see the referee here, the indecisive line judge, number 53, just inching her way up. Hurts revived the team. I think that's undeniable, right? And like usually wow, did anyone just see 39 make that block? Oh my, do I love run plays like that. He got it again. I'm liking this, Colt McCoy. No, there really wasn't football, Max, where we lived. I probably could have. I was a really big guy. So when I was in grade 10, I was 6'4" and over 200 pounds. And I was probably one of the fastest guys in a straight line speed. So I would have been a reasonable tight end kicker, something like that. I could kick the ball 50 yards, but I was blessed in that type of, but I never got to play football. It probably would have been best for me, to be honest. I kickboxed and I played soccer. Great job, Giants. God, and see, the grit we're talking about on defense is being mirrored in the blocking game. So, yeah, I have very little like on-field football knowledge or even anecdotal. My brother-in-law was I don't want to give too much away, but he was a very he was a locally famous player around here who did have offers to play in professional level. So yeah, he got drafted in the CFL and stuff like that, but he wasn't interested in that. You know, and I'm just realizing what a perfect marriage is. I can't really think of a better running back, like from a calorie. Let's call it a cap salary, friendly player in Alfred Morris, because Alfred Morris is the king of the 4-yard run, right? And realistically, we talked about limiting possessions. Nothing wrong with that. This is a nice fit for the Giants, and with Colt McCoy. Yes, that is just the best. Oh, I love that stuff. And the Giants, they're bringing up the name Kevin Zeitler, who was a part of the Odell Beckham trade, and boy, or maybe that was the Olivier Vernon trade. Either way, that was another John Dorsey mishap. You don't give away good guards like that. and they're doing a lot of pre-snap stuff. I'm loving this. This is art is exactly right, Zaps. Because you know you're bad. That's the thing. You know you're bad. Right? So they've done everything to make this good. He could have got the first down there. This is great. I am just over the moon impressed with how the Giants have played. I mean, they could not score another point for the rest of the game. This is a good sample for me, though, in between this, the Seahawks game, and a variety of times I've backed them because I've probably been most profitable off this team this year than any other, I would say. 2nd and 1 here, and then we have a bruiser, Wayne Gallman Jr. in. Perfect. Look how long this drive is taking, too. It's taking forever. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. Oh, man. And of course they bring in Wayne Gallman for that shill, because Wayne Gallman is, I would imagine, the heaviest player on their team. I don't know how heavy Penny is, but they're moving the ball, and look, they did. That stunted 3 defenders on Cleveland. Great job. Oh, man. I like play action. I'm lukewarm on a lot of the time, but that was executed very, very well. Look at 11 rushes, 12 passes. 12 passes, I would say the majority are bootlegs or good job. Right on. Max, exactly. That's how I feel. That's why I liked him over Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones has one of the best, most precise arms there are. But as far as running an offense, not turning the ball over, those are things that have still been a big struggle for him. And Colt McCoy has been running a professional offense. You know what I mean? Chad Pennington was a bit like this. Couldn't throw deep, but could definitely run an offense, right? It's not going to make you win huge games, but against close, I think close in talent, which the Browns I don't think are head and shoulders above the Giants. He's going to get you covers. He's a cover quarterback, which is for us what we care about. This might be a PI here. No. 3rd and 6. This game, honestly, the Giants the Giants could be up. This could have been for 21. They could be up 14-7 here. It's 7-3. I get that, and I'm looking at obviously, I have a boner for the Giants now. I am a Cleveland Browns fan, oddly enough. He slipped, but there were a lot of close calls for this Giants team. And the other thing too is when they always talk about a running back's out, that it's going to hurt the win probability of this team. Look at these Giants running backs. Push. Look at the Giants running backs. I'm going to bring up their roster one more time. You're going to get close to the same production by using these guys effectively. So let's see running back here. We have Wayne Gallman, Dion Lewis, Alfred Morris, and fullback Elijah Penny.
And Devontae Freeman's on IR.
So now they have Saquon Barkley, of course, the fabled Saquon Barkley. However, you can make that up. They're going for it again. I'm okay with this in this spot. It's not 4th and 5, and they have their actual offense out there. It's He's got to get that. That looks like a bad spot, though, from that. There's no way. That was a bad spot. Let me see that. I don't know about that.
I think it's spot on.
Unfortunate series of events. I feel really good about this Giants play, though. Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, Moose has been tough. But yeah, so what I was talking about, the Giants at running back, they've essentially replaced production of Barkley. Some games they've been better with the a coterie of like low paid talent, to be honest. Like Wayne Gallman's a 4th round pick, on the heavier side. Alfred Morris is a veteran retread, and so is Dion Lewis, who has different 3rd down skills. I mean, I don't know. That's just to me that if I'm building a team, if I can get 5 guys like that on the roster, 5 or 6, you're going to stash some guys in the practice squad. That'll do it, and I activate 4 like they have for this game, and then just use those guys to the best of their abilities, right? So that's a better way of going. Especially, this is the best part. If one of those guys gets injured, how hard is it to replace him? Not hard at all. Whereas Saquon Barkley, replacing a guy who is that dynamic at everything is very difficult. So I'm going to go see if I might grab something to eat.
Sounds good. It looked like he kind of slipped and just didn't have the power to get there. It's close, but he looked about half a yard short to me. I've got an interesting question one of you guys might be able to answer. But if it's a turnover on downs, because I know every turnover is reviewed. So if it's turnovers on a down, is that automatically reviewed? I got a feeling one of you guys might know. Because I'm not actually sure. It looks like it's not Jake. Okay. No one's talking about the Sheldon Richardson revenge game. I know Chubb was hurt, but it's impressive that Kareem Hunt has 212 touches, considering he's a second guy on the depth chart.
His zone defense is getting kind of eaten up here. It's a little bit. They might want to think to switch it at halftime. More of a man concept, I would imagine.
Who's the better Lawrence, Jennifer or Dexter?
Dexter. I like my men large.
Did you guys see that Chase Daniel played some snaps today? I sure did.
For Detroit?
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan, Zaps. It'd be a pure market, not handicapping, pure market plays.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the betting market for those, but we're not gonna be doing Any handicapping?
I could name 20 guys in the NBA, to be honest, and I could name less in college. I'll tell you that much. Not going to stop me from backing Bumberbean if I'm getting double digits. Bumberbean, yeah. No, absolutely not, Mickey. But that's just in the limited data that we found. So we're gonna peel the onion though, and even if we don't offer selections, we'll at least explain how the market has shifted and let you determine from there. We have some proprietary statistics we've used to help with NFL betting information in regards to which way direction the line's going to move, and we're going to employ those strategies with the NBA. Hopefully they're effective. Cue the music. Here we go. Dylan Toddfield. Yeah, I lost in fantasy. I certainly did. Assuming no major point correction. Yeah, but sometimes there's line movement zaps, and if you get on the if you are alerted quick enough, you can jump on smart money and just lose only a tiny bit of value. For the most part, though, yes, it's insanely difficult. The one good thing though is apps is even if you miss one, there's so many in a day. There's 200 in a day sometimes almost.
And Zaps, it might be the exact opposite. Like there might be so little games that maybe the sharps are where you need to follow, or the people that are betting those games you need to follow. So it's something that we can take a look at. It's the real time-consuming part is just us collecting the data. Like the Fat Guy and I just finished college basketball for last year, and it just takes a long time. There's like 5,000. There was 5,300 games in college basketball last year. So we had to go through and collect all that data. There's I don't know, 6 or 7 different data points that we have to hit for each game. So 6 or whatever it is, 7 data points times.
Yeah.
It's 37,000 things we had to input just for college basketball just for last year.
I have not, Max. Big Rye did many years ago, but more for fun.
Fantasy Hoops was actually the first thing that I ever did for fantasy, and that was like early high school for me. So we're talking almost 20 years ago. Yeah, we're literally talking about 20 years was my first fantasy thing. It was fantasy basketball, and I was terrible. I really liked that format, though. It was you would select a team based off of a salary cap, and then the salary cap would go up and down depending on how those players performed. So I found that very interesting.
Well, we'll see, Dylan. We'll see if you're able to do that. I'm not sure what position you're in.
Farrah Fawcett Majors.
You're not wrong. That would be the one from that time frame.
Yeah, good luck, Max. I'm sure there's depending on the league and what the rules are, I'm sure there's ways to find nice advantages. I'm really good at that kind of thing, so
yes,
the Fat Guy can attest to it.
Yes,
it's something that I've been able to.
He ruined fantasy hockey. He literally ruined it.
Yeah, I made one league fold and I won 2
Yeah.
years in a row. And the first year I
No,
won,
no, you
I
didn't just win. You smashed. It was not close.
Well, the first year was the best because the first year I screwed up the draft because I didn't understand what the rules were. So I cut
They changed the rules.
I had to trade or cut every player on my team. So I didn't have one player that I drafted, and I still won.
Yeah. I got to give Dylan credit in fantasy. He's built a really strong team through the waiver wire. He was the first one up, and he was the most dedicated, and he kind of deserves to beat me. I certainly didn't do that in that league. In any league this year, to be honest.
Max, you just got to hope for beginner's luck. For your first time with anything, it's going to be a learning experience. Just hopefully you got the right guys in the draft, or if you haven't drafted yet, just make sure you do your research on how you can score points and where you think the best advantage is. Well, the best thing, Jay, is that I was able to... The scoring in it was weird. So the scoring in it allowed for it to happen. So how the scoring worked is there was like 15 categories. And
penalty minutes, block shots, goals, assists.
Hits, and then goalies had, I think, 6 stats. They had like wins, shots against, save percentage. Like it was... Essentially, I just wanted to win 5 of the 6 goalie categories, and then I just needed to win like face-offs, hits, and penalty minutes.
So he built the ugliest team that ever existed.
Yeah, like I was picking up guys that were... Like I was just trying to find guys that had lots of face-off wins and hits. And you can imagine that the competition in fantasy hockey for that is pretty low. Because everyone wants like the Ilya Kovalchuks and the Jaromir Jagrs, and meanwhile I'm finding like Steve Ott, and I'm winning, and people were definitely upset. And then, you know what's even funnier is I did that the first year, and the second year everyone still drafted the same team.
Yes,
and
they
so
did.
I had a huge advantage being able to draft like some of the top end guys that got those, so it was a lot easier the second year. Yeah. It's very... I should say it is pretty statistical. But I have a feeling that fantasy basketball would be pretty similar. It just depends on... It really depends on what the rules are. Like for fantasy football, it really is like you're flipping a coin pretty much every week, whether you're going to win or not. There are some strategies, like I was saying earlier. If it's a 10-team league, everyone's got like a 10% chance to win. But if for someone like the fat guy and I, with all the research and stuff we do, we're still only like 13%. Like we don't have that much.
Maybe slightly better, but
we really don't have that much edge because of how the rules are set up in fantasy football. Whereas different fantasy leagues, there's a lot more opportunity because it's a lot easier to predict and a lot more consistent. Yeah, Jay, exactly. Like so much is about matchups. Football betting's also flipping a coin, and even for that, the fat guy and I have 53% on a coin flip. It's still very impressive, but it's not going to be gangbusters. Fat guy did the math. I was really impressed with it, but we're in the top 7 to 20 percentile as far as
I know
how
that's a big thing, but like the simulation I can can only use so many trials, so.
Oh, Cassone's been killing it. Cassone is a statistical anomaly this year.
Is that a touchdown? Unbelievable. Wow.
what Cassone's done this year is like 1 in a million. Like he's
not that crazy. It's good.
He's at 62%. It's probably higher than 1 in a million. Like 62% is insane. 135 wins, 83 losses.
I can find out right now. Hold on.
Cassone's just laughing. I'm telling you, it's very impressive. 62%.
Oh, it's very
on a coin flip.
impressive. It's not that good. It's very, very good.
NBA's back. Take Golden State +5 and Knicks +8.5 against Indiana. Good luck, Eric. I think preseason's done, right? I'm pretty sure preseason's done and the games start on the 22nd. So we'll be doing a video. I'll put it out sometime a few hours before the games on the 22nd. Oh, buddy made $100 off Hooper's first touchdown. That's nice.
That's good. How many games is it? I'm going to find out right now.
We're at 221 games, 135 wins. And it's 218 games because it's 3 draws. And we get I don't know if that extra point was blocked, but it definitely didn't go through the uprights. So
minus the ties, how many games again, Big Rise? Sorry.
218 games, 135 wins. Here goes my question. Is it a good idea to moneyline long shots in meaningless preseason games? It's so hard to tell, Eric, because the sample is just so that the sample is not going to be big enough. Even if you're pulling off of like the last 20 years, there's just not enough data to go off of. My suggestion is the only thing that I've found could be successful in the NFL for any preseason for that matter, not that I've looked at a lot of other leagues, is betting the under at the start of preseason, like the first week. But anything outside of that, I would really suggest not betting anything for preseason, because you don't know how teams are going to be using that preseason game, like what they're going to be doing from a coaching side, from like there's just so much to figure out that it's just not really worth it. I feel like you're just doing a lot of guessing though at that point. Like if you're trying to figure out which team has more meaningful preseason games, like what does that even mean? Like what's a meaningful preseason game? Like I feel like every team, every player is trying to get better, but some teams are going to have like, okay, we're going to work on this play, and maybe that play is less valuable than other plays that you run. You know, like what if a team, like I know this sounds crazy, but like what if they just want to work on short yardage and then they go short yardage all game? Like you just don't know what teams or players are trying to work out. Maybe they want to see like in football, maybe they want to see if their corners can play man without any safety help. Like it's just so unpredictable what coaching staffs or players are going to be doing in preseason.
The only
games.
argument I can think of is if you have almost a quarterback controversy or a battle for second and third spot even, and they're reasonable talents, then
that is definitely one thing that did affect the lines for preseason games when we were tracking them, is that if they do have like a highly touted rookie or an experienced quarterback that's going to play snaps in that game, then usually it favors them a bit. But I don't even think that's a good reason to jump on that side. Like, it might be overvalued because the books are setting the line higher because that's going to happen. So it's a very tough market to read.
I'm just adjusting my Monte Carlo simulator for. I named it "How Good Is Cassone?"
I think tougher preseason teams have people competing for jobs, and I don't think it's good practice to be a coach where every player isn't competing for their jobs. MLB spring training underdog run line bets are good because there's no extra innings. That's a good point. We've had a couple overtime games lately, and it makes me think about how that's one of those things where squares actually benefit from having overtimes, because mostly squares are going to be betting the over. MLB spring training. You think we're going to have any good halftime performances?
I just saw the craziest thing I've ever seen. On a Monte Carlo simulation, holy jeez, on an 820 something sample. Oh no, that must be an error. Hold on. I'll fix it. Never mind.
I like how you're thinking, Eric. It's good to be thinking about, like, what are the inefficiencies in any market. It's just tough to figure out what those inefficiencies are relative to the line or the price that you can get. Do you guys know what the tiebreaker is? If it's Jacksonville or the Jets that have
Jacksonville.
Overall? How does that work?
I don't know, but they have it. Because I mean, Jacksonville beat Indy, so that's the part that's interesting to me.
Well, there is no secret formula, like, or perfect formula. Like, these, you're playing in a market that's always changing. Like, it's, even if we find something tomorrow, it might last for 3 days and then it's done. Like, the inefficiency could be found and taken off. And, like, we're pretty public with a lot of the stuff we do. So, like, there's not a lot of, it seems like there's not a lot of secrets going on, even though there is a lot of work that goes on in the background.
Okay, I got it set up. How many wins does he have? How many losses?
135 wins in 218 games.
How many losses does he have?
83. Moose said that the tiebreaker over the Jets based on best win percentage in conference games.
Okay, I might be wrong. Uh-oh. If you want to bring it up. I'm off by 1. I can't add it. It's a big pain. So the game selection, I'm off by 1. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I gave him the win. So, okay. Oh,
Have you found one yet?
no. This is 234, so 120. That's 460.
There you go. There's one.
There was one. I didn't see it. There was one.
There's 2.
I didn't see it. So there's 2. You counted 2?
Yep.
So that's 10. That's 12.
1 in 500, something like that.
About 1 in 500. Yeah.
It's pretty
That's
damn awesome.
That's pretty good.
And that's over a sample size of what, 1,000, a little bit more than that. It's 120,
More
so
than
it's
that.
actually like 1 in 600.
Yeah, it's 1 in 600, roughly. That's pretty good.
Well, this is interesting. If both the Jets and the Jags lose their remaining games, the top spot would be decided by a tiebreaker based on the strength of schedule. So they're actually reliant on how well other teams do.
That's bizarre.
Tony Dungy upset that the Giants didn't take the points when they had them. Jets were 74% chance to have the number 1 pick. Now they're 31%. Sounds about right. I feel like Trevor Lawrence has that Florida man feel to him. Yeah, Max, after this video, Fat Guy and I will be looking at the lines for next week and making our predictions on what we think about the opening lines and where we think they'll move. So if you guys haven't yet, make sure you join the YouTube channel membership, and you'll be able to access Discord, where we chat like this all day, really. It feels like 24/7. I don't mind if the Jets get Lawrence and they make a coaching change. I just don't know if I want Adam Gase as the guy coaching up my quarterback right now. The ironic part is, I know this probably isn't going to happen, but if they made Gase like the quarterback coach and brought in a new head coach, it might not be that bad. But he's seems overmatched as a head coach. Sean Bullard thinks that the the Giants are dumb. Why not kick those field goals? The score would be totally different. Well, I think if they got those 2 touchdowns, I don't think people would be complaining. It's one of those things where they took 2 risks, they didn't work out, and we are where we are. Yeah, I like what Untouchable says. The Discord is another addiction in a good way. I have no problem with them going for it because the opposition has to go like 95, 98 yards to score. So field position wise, it makes sense.
Oh, this feels like a long half time.
I think it's because they also kneeled out. I think there was commercial break and then they came back, kneeled out. Then it went to halftime, but it should be kicking off sometime shortly.
I am stunned by those results from Cassone. So that's very interesting.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I like this. The Discord is another addiction in a good way. If loving Discord is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Yeah, it's good for the under.
Sean, I will say this to Sean Bullard. What if they got a touchdown in one of those things, right? I don't know. There's different ways of looking at it. The what ifs and what nots. I mean, they could have missed the field goals as well. I generally like it to go for it. I didn't like the first one, like getting the punting unit out there or whatever. It's about 1 in 600 from the simulations I did, Mickey, but it would be that's not as accurate as it could be because I'm using the random number function in Excel or in Google Sheets.
So there's a game on Christmas Day. That's not going to happen. So Friday's a no. Boxing Day, there's 3 games. And honestly, guys, Fat Guy's probably in the same boat as me. I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be, so I'm not sure which games we will stream if we do. Do you have there's a possibility of family stuff on Boxing Day?
Yeah. It's probably tough.
So Boxing Day is probably going to be a no-go either.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be the Sunday night game on the 27th would be our next live stream after tomorrow's Monday night game. And that would be Tennessee at Green Bay right now unless it gets flexed out. But Tennessee-Green Bay is going to be a fun game to watch. And then Buffalo-New England on Monday night next week too. I like that. And I'm also seeing some value on some of those games. Boxing Day is the 26th, so that's going to be the Saturday games. So it's probably going to be Sunday night, Monday night for us. And yeah, Sean, like the results suck. I think people would rather have some points than 0 points, but it's just how it worked out. I don't think there's anything wrong with the decisions. But people, it depends on like how risky or conservative you want to be as well. We should boycott streaming Saints games. What's the total going to be on Green Bay, Tennessee? That's an interesting thing to ask, Mickey. I will talk about over-unders before because I could care less. It's set at 55.5. It opened at 56, so it came down half a point. Fat Guy brought up time of possession, and actually the Packers have the best time of possession this year, according to team rankings. So I don't know how accurate that is or what the sample is they've used. But something interesting to think about especially when betting over unders.
Doing that week 16. Guess we're doing that tomorrow, Big Rye.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, tomorrow night's the picks video, and then tonight we're gonna do the opening line video.
yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I took a moment off stream because I was trying to figure out Cassone's probability of being this good. So it's hard to argue that there isn't some skill involved in that. Very hard.
So Sean, it's gonna be out Tuesday morning. At least
I
the
am
pick video will
mesmerized.
be.
Good job, Giants. Assist to turnover ratio. That's very interesting stat. I like that. I'll
It's
be
good
back
for-
momentarily. I'm still
Sounds good.
mesmerized. I gotta be honest. I love probabilities, and it's just nice to see like something, because it's not like he just picked a lottery ticket. You know what I mean? Like, this was done over a long period. I mean, I guess you could pick a random. That's what I'm comparing it to, but I don't know. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah, assist to turnover is good for point guards. That's for sure. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Yes. Yes, Mickey. Jake Jacobs was the champ last year. trying to see what Jake's record was last year, but I can't. I don't remember what his name was last year. Jake was 56% last year. So right now, if Jake was in the contest, he'd be in 4th place for last year. That's unreal. 56% is tough. All right, Giants down 10. They've got the ball. 1st and 10. Denzel Ward did a really good job breaking to the ball there. I find it interesting that he's playing on that side of the field, but they might have him moving around in matchups. Yeah, possibly, Eric. There's a lot of regulars at the top this year overall. But really, like, if you make every pick for the year, you're probably going to be in the top 25, at least with how participation is right now. That had to be a flag against the Giants. They were moving before that snap. Last year's successful players: Zidvono, Hobgoblin, E-Steelers, Mickey, Detroit one time. T-shirt time, John Stacy. John Stacy hit at 57.6% last year in 232 games. So he actually had the best season percentage-wise with a respectable amount of games. Jake Jacobs was the champ. We had Godfidence IQ who hit at 65%, but he only played a couple weeks. Bat Boy did really well last year. He was at 55% in a limited sample. And then Fat Guy and I were at 53%. To me, the two biggest ones are Zidvono was really good last year, and he's been good this year. Mickey, you're up there. Jackson started halfway through last season, so he doesn't have a lot of stuff to go off of. Mad Capper just found us at the end of last year. Satuple did well. He was at 52% last year, so he's done well both years. And Jamie did well picking last year, but he didn't pick a lot of games. So, like, he only picked a few weeks, so he found us relatively, or he started making picks relatively late. Yeah, Jackson's doubling Guinness. Yeah, the Browns should do what they can to force the ball into McCoy's hands. 53.7% relating to how well against the spread they did in 2019 last season in the picks contest. Oh yeah, Jackson's having an unreal year. Jackson's been very sharp this year. 4th and 5, they were lining up to go for it on offense. They're running out the punt team. I love this stuff. A lot of Browns players didn't even move, so I don't know if they just have a lot of defensive players that play special teams.
And we're back. Seems uneventful what I missed.
Well, we just saw... I love this stuff. The Giants had their offense out on the field on 4th and 5. And then halfway through the play clock, they ran the punting team out there.
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time, Big Ray? You cut out for just a second.
It's 4th and 5 for the Giants. And the offense ran off the field with 20 seconds left on the play clock. So the punting team came out to punt. And I was just saying I love that kind of the gamesmanship with that type of thing. Interested to see what this flag's on.
It looks like it helped a little bit.
I was just looking through actually we decided to change the structure of our videos this year. We wanted to get straight into the picks and then talk about the contest later. Last year we had a little bit more viewership from YouTube, as well as we started with the picks contest. So there was a lot more participation in the picks contest last year than there's been this year. But I think the quality of people that have joined the picks contest is very high. So we really enjoy the people that participate in the picks contest and are trying to get better every week rather than just getting like the one-offs like we did last year where people, they'll pick for 2 or 3 weeks, they do poorly, and then they just stop. But there's probably we probably could have got a couple more people if we decided to keep the focus on the contest at the start of the videos. But I'd rather get straight into the picks because the video is about picks. It's not about a contest. So I feel like more people are interested in the picks if they click the video. The contest is just such a great way for people that feel very strongly to jump in and compete and see how they can do. Oh yeah, sorry about that, Eric. Yeah, we'll do we're going to be doing videos. We're going to be trying to do videos all throughout the year. Yeah, what is Kasson going to do with that $100 prize? He's got a pretty hefty lead, but nothing's guaranteed. I could stumble on everything if you want. It comes natural to me. Every time Mike Tirico gets to call a game, I feel like he's like a kid on Christmas Day.
Man, Chubb is awesome. That was a good run too.
Jay, what do you mean? What was up with the speech on the last video? Oh, I fumble my words all the time. That's like a staple. I was like, when we started doing, not that I'm good now, but I was so bad when we started. He used to take me like multiple takes, and we had to do so much cutting and editing, and it's gotten a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that ball was coming out. Surprising play by Baker that was successful. I didn't think that would have happened.
The one thing I will say is that I usually have like a lot of things going on at once when we are making the videos, because like I'm essentially like production and in the video at the same time. So I tend to have less focus on what I'm saying sometimes. Oh, I used to have to edit a shit ton. Like I used to have to edit myself a lot, and we'd have to pause and shit and like laugh it off, and it was it's a pain in the ass when you're editing. Yeah, you loved this week's ending.
Yeah, it was good. You asked me to recap, and I said no, and then I said ended. I think. Do it live. We probably. You know what's funny, Jay? I would say 50% of the videos, actually more than that, 70% of the videos we did uh, were in one take. So I mean, like the chance of a decent show live is pretty reasonable, actually. But there are some things that, like, I don't know. Sometimes there's like a big mess up, and we have to take like a minute too. So it's a bit risky.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but 2 weeks ago, my headset died, and because my headset died, I had to put Fat Guy in through my speakers, and I don't know what happened, but the Fat Guy like came through twice, so he was super loud, and I had to go back and edit the Fat Guy's voice to be way quieter for the second half of the video, and like it's a pain in the ass. Like it's actually
Yeah,
like a lot more work than usual. So things like that can always happen. Well, that's the thing too, is that we talked about like, oh, should we do the opening line video live? But the problem is that also with chat up, like we're gonna get distracted and we're gonna get off topic, and then a video that should be maybe 30 minutes might turn into 2.5 hours. And I'm not saying that's bad, like especially for someone like you, I think you wouldn't mind it. You'd probably enjoy it, but it's not everyone's. It's not what
cup of
everybody
tea.
wants. So
Chubb's unreal.
yeah, that's it. There's gonna be technical difficulties. Like it's just the two of us. We hammer the stuff in. We try to get to the video right away, and once in a while things are just gonna be wrong. And like we deal with some weird tech, like we've managed to get it where we can actually make the video quite fast, but it still takes a few hours to have everything get together and load up. Big run from
Best in
Chubb.
between the tackles running back in the league, Nick Chubb here. Kind of waning on the Giants, which I imagine in the playoffs that's what would happen to a lot of other teams. Are going to have this trouble if the Browns are able to run on them.
Well, it's surprising that even with two backup offensive linemen, they're still having success on the ground. And I don't know who 53 is. I think it says Harris. But like he did an excellent job as a right guard on that last play. And he looks strong again there, just focusing on Harris as the right guard. Let's take a look. Let's see. I don't know how many of these would be recreational, but if we pull up the money line, take a look at the Jets. 42% of bettors took the Jets at 10-1, but only 12% of the money. So really the books just pretty much took even action on both sides, considering it was 10-1 and 12% won.
Yeah.
So they make their money on all the people that laid the money on the Rams, and they just pass it over to people on the Jets.
That's got to be 10-1. That's the biggest upset I can remember.
Yeah, 17.5-point dogs, and they went out.
Yeah,
right.
but that's not in line with 17.5 points, 10-1. That's more than usual. Oh, it was 17 as well, as it? It was, but the money line wasn't 10-1. It wasn't that big. Was that Josh Allen debut? I don't know if it was. That was week 2 or 3.
Yeah, so 17.5 in our numbers would be, let me just go to the underdog side, make it easier, is 11.32% chance of winning. So it's pretty close to that 10-1.
Sorry, did you repeat that percentage?
Plus 17.5 in our numbers is 11.32% of the time they would win. So the 10-1 is pretty close. To what you'd expect.
Still 1.3% though on that.
Well, it was like plus 980, I think it was, and that was the best money line you could get at whichever book it was.
Very, very, very close then. Action Network has an article on this. 17.5 is the biggest one since 1995.
That's impressive.
Bills Vikings closed at 16.5. So Dolphins Pats at the end of last year, or 2 years ago, where Big Rye was financially impacted by that.
Which game was it?
Remember when the
Dolphins?
Yeah,
Patriots?
that you lost.
Yep, I remember. Yeah, 538 had Steelers Jags at 93%, which according to us it'd be like minus 23. But the higher up you get, like the less accurate those percentages are going to be. I think it would be hard for us to handicap any game up to 23.
Wow.
"12 plays, 95 yards for the Browns. Very impressive drive."
Yeah. They get stronger down the stretch here with that type of running game, right? Jags almost won that game against the Packers. Wow, clipping penalty. That's like you rarely ever see that.
So break for the Giants. First and goal from the 21 for the Browns.
Wow. What a play and what a throw. This zone concept really hasn't worked today. What is a whistle here? Oh, false start. That's pretty late. Rookie Jedrick Wills. Chubb is such a load, man. Woo! Doesn't go down. Well, how would I know? It's live for me, Eric.
Third and goal from the 1.
He got in for sure. Wow, nice touchdown, Cleveland. Nice game. I like his chances of doing that, Moose. Chubb's a force, and he should get it considering how much they're up. God, he's good.
Yeah, really nice job by Chubb.
Now we're going to need 2 touchdowns from Colt McCoy. It's very difficult.
See, I think that's my mistake, Mickey. I usually fall forward. I will be back momentarily. There's the live line. It's 14.5. I will be back shortly.
Yikes. I'm still happy with the Giants bet. This is hasn't worked out results wise, but I'm okay with it. You know, not to be too reactionary from the performance, but yeah, absolutely, Moose. And it just is. It's one of those things, right? And they had plenty of opportunity to stop Cleveland in certain scenarios, weren't able to do it. I do think the linebacking is going to be a bit of an issue, but it's my thought process was mostly market based too. So there's that. So I can't take too much credit handicapping wise. You got over 74.5. Not looking good. I don't know if it really was big. I mean, I'm not sure corners make really any difference. It's I think a lot of those fourth down plays, for instance, that kind of hurt them, that type of thing. So it's hard to draw conclusions from one sample realistically. Morris, they're still sticking to the run here. I can understand that. I mean, it's you're not going to get much slinging it out of the Giants with Colt McCoy. Oddly enough, though, this is they're not completely out of this game. It's going to be real tough to come back, though. Yeah, but that's just one iteration, Hio. Like, think about the win probability added and loss from a corner. It's very minimal. At least since I've been doing it, it never affects the line ever. A corner being out, really. So, I mean, we're allowed to disagree on that, though. Only a cluster injury, which is a term Mickey Hill used, um, and I agree. It's when there's like three receivers out, maybe, or two or three offensive linemen. Well, a left tackle can affect it, though. Oh, nice pass deflection there, but it looks like Terrence Mitchell. 3rd and 10 here. Not a good spot for the Giants. Cole McCoy will get you certain advantages, but not advancing the ball in 3rd and long isn't one of them. Oh, Slayton with a pass drop. Wow. And that clearly would have been a 1st down. Wow, that was on Lemieux, the guard. So yeah, that's it's gonna be 4th and 10. They have to go for it anyways, though. What? They're punting? I don't know, Otis. I've been wondering that myself. That was a big chatting point between. Like I've never been for conspiracy. This is the only time I've ever posited that thought was when the Jets played the Raiders, that game is what you're mentioning, as well as when the Jets played the Patriots a little bit before. It was so weird, some of the coaching decisions that were made. I'd have to review that game to really give it a good thought. It's possible the players just had a good game. You know what I mean? It's bizarre, and like I said, I never thought the Browns were tanking when they didn't win a game. I watched a lot of those Lions game back in the day. I never thought they were tanking. You know what I mean? This is the only time I've seen something like that egregious, that Henry Ruggs touchdown for the Raiders, in addition to too many men on the field on a 3rd and 4 or 4th and 4 field goal by the uh, by the Patriots, which became a first down, which gave them a touchdown, and the play calling thereafter too. So, it yeah, but he lost his job and his salary. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows the inner workings of a team and what really goes on? The payola, as they say. Now, Jake says, "Do we get a fade the Jets now?" I mean, does this make them? I don't know if this moves the needle for anybody. I'll tell you what it does do. I think there's going to be good value on the Rams because they have a black eye that is just like eternal. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping they're able to somehow win the division despite that. And I don't know what the Seahawks record is, but I think they're in if they beat the Seahawks. I don't have it in front of me, anyways. But I think if you're able to, if the if they make the playoffs, there's going to be like residual recency bias. I think against the Seahawks there will be for sure, and there'll be value on them. So it's about as interesting as it gets, really, as far as the Rams go. The Jets, though, this probably shouldn't move the needle. The record is still bad. I'm excited to bet on the Giants too going forward as well. This game is turned into a dud despite what I felt was a strong first half from the Giants. So people are probably going to overreact to that, right? Because they do this one argument that I really like to fade at least is, oh, you can never beat the good teams. Oh man, it's just so like there's a probability to everything. That's so like arbitrary, you know what I mean? Much like I always bring up the most brought up thing I ever heard about Kirk Cousins, because he's like the new Joe Flacco in terms of, are they elite or are they even good realistically? And he's always brought up that he doesn't win on prime time, and then he goes in and wins a playoff game against the Saints, right? It's because he's, out of all the prime time quarterbacks with his sample of games on prime time, he somehow had the worst. There's going to be a guy who had the best, right? Do you know what I mean? It's just the way things go, right? And also, some of his losses were really ugly as well, so that almost adds to the mystique of it, right? And then, anyways, that kind of carries on with the Giants, I would imagine, with people going, "Wow, they couldn't beat the big one." Well, that happened to be the game you watched, and them losing to as 6-point underdogs isn't like like it's probable. Do you know what I mean? It's probable. Maybe not by 17 points, but I mean, what difference does it make? I might agree with Jake. Yeah, that could have been a look ahead thing. I don't like using those terms, right? But there's a possibility too, right? Like, because this Seahawks game is, I think, more important than them winning or losing against the Jets, oddly enough.
I haven't watched Nick Harris on every play, but he's looked good on the plays I have watched him play. Obviously, one sack and 31 snaps isn't great, but it's a start. The genius behind the Browns, Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah, sure.
Was it a Giants turnover or was it like a 3-and-out and punt?
Yeah, yeah. Then there were some penalties as well. It wasn't a turnover, it was a punt, but
I just saw the live line was at 17.5, so I was trying to figure out what happened to change it.
he's had a nice season, Peoples Jones. This is a good it's a good year for the Browns to have success from receivers because they're most certainly going to move on from Odell and Landry, considering what is $36 million a year between those two guys. That's an insane amount of cap. And realistically, how much is a drop off between Landry and Beckham to Rashard Higgins and Donovan Peoples Jones? I mean, like what you could say, what they're 15% better, but those guys are getting paid about $500,000 a year, right? So are they 36 times better? Not a chance, right? So realistically, you could perhaps draft another receiver next year, and 36 million to play with, right? That's serious dough. You can add another stud offensive lineman and a stud pass rusher. Do you know what I mean? There's that money could be spent a lot better. Yeah. Surprised they're even running screens. Yeah, they all hit easily until they don't. It'd be interesting to do a deep dive on the math on them. Because over the large enough sample, I'm not sure, right?
Well, it's one of those things where what was the math? You had to be right 83% of the time to break even.
Yeah, they got a guy bigger than John Candy on this home hardware commercial. Who am I to judge, though, eh?
Yeah.
I don't think Big Rye knows about the Bob Crane story. What's this? What's the movie that they did about Bob Crane? Autofocus, and I think it's Willem Dafoe plays Bob Crane. That's a very interesting Hollywood story, to be honest. Greg Kinnear. Greg Kinnear is Bob Crane. Ah. Anyways, check out Autofocus. It's very good. Greg from Talk Soup? I don't know what Talk Soup is. It's a production show for E. No, Greg Kinnear's from, I don't know, everything.
So Otis at minus 250. You'd have to hit 71.4% of the time or higher to break even. And I have 7 to hit 7 to 8 point teasers on average. It would be 69% of the time. So you're losing about 2% EV. So you get 2 teams with 8 extra points each at minus 250. So are you betting 4 separate 2-team parlays? Okay, I get you now. So if 3 of those teams win but 1 loses, you'd still win 3 of the parlays, but you'd lose the other 3 parlays?
Man, a lot of commercials, I feel like. This game had good flow to it before. Maybe it was running too fast. That makes sense, actually.
Okay.
Yikes. Yeah, if it goes over some key numbers, that might be positive. I think that was a brutal hold by the Giants. Ingram with another drop, which is not surprising. Colt McCoy in tough here.
Yeah, Otis. As long as you're taking the time and understanding what the math is, then you're good. I know out of a lot of people, you're going to take a little bit extra time to figure out what the EV is.
First down Golden Tate coming up. I could see that. Oh, Ingram again. Yeah, more than likely they have a chance of putting a touchdown up here, and maybe they get lucky and they get a garbage time one. Backdoor covers are a thing. Running out of time for this backdoor though. I agree. Who backdoor covered today, Big Rye? I can't recall. Washington?
Washington did,
Yeah.
depending on what line you got.
Yeah, if you got 6.
I don't know if you could call it a backdoor, but Houston managed to come back being down.
Well, they could have won that game outright.
Tampa Bay backdoor covered. Or sorry, they did not. Atlanta did cover. Miami came from behind to cover. I guess Arizona,
depending on the line
technically.
for Saints. That was just a comeback though. They were favorites, right?
And Dallas got it done as an underdog.
Yeah.
Dalton put
That
up
was one I was
41
surprised
points.
at.
Well,
In fantasy?
Dalton didn't. No, the Dallas Cowboys scored 41 points, but
Yeah.
I know not all of those were on offense. A backdoor push, or as I like to call it in my community, is a good time.
No, that was a closing line. Wasn't 7.5, was it? I had Houston at 7. That was a push.
They were at 7.5 pretty much everywhere.
Oh, so they did cover then. I didn't realize that was the closing line. Teddy backdoored last night. That was great. It's
Yeah, that was
unfortunate.
great.
Couple missed opportunities in the end zone for the Giants now, and then there's going to be a useless field goal coming up here.
I was going to say they are in 4-down territory, but I guess down 17. It is a 3-score game. They just squeak in the field goal.
It's better than that now, Otis, but it's still not good. Because I think that the next 2 games, all 3 teams have to lose both, and they have to win both.
Yeah, Washington is.
You got
still
a good
game
number
on.
then, Sean. Nice work. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Their destiny is there, but I still think I still think that was at the time it was a bad play, right? It did get the result today though. It's because it's not Philly can't win the next 2 games either. Let me look here. NFC East. Yeah,
Well,
Washington still has a game on
their
them, too.
chances are definitely better than 100-1 at this
Now,
moment.
they weren't at the
But
time.
that's because certain things have gone their way.
Well, they're the only team to win, and all three teams lost, right? So that kind of helped them. They're
Here's
better
got
than
the
100-1
scenario.
now.
The Cowboys win out to get 7-9. The Eagles lose once to the Cowboys. The Giants lose twice. Washington loses twice. So you need all. I think how it works is you need all those things to happen. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different coin flip esque things to happen.
I hope I have a future in Washington football team. I hope they win it. So I didn't want I wouldn't bet against Deshaun Watson in that game. So I liked him. I liked him at 7 even. I got a push, but could have been better than that. We're gonna have a watermelon kick looking here. Oh, looks like Carl Joseph recovered the one hop fumbled by the Cleveland player. Wouldn't it be very Cleveland to give up this game? Oh, somebody pulled Jabril Peppers off the pile. Him, revenge game for Jabril Peppers as well.
And Kevin Zeitler.
Yeah.
This matchup was probably set up on the schedule for Odell Beckham talk.
And he hasn't been mentioned at all. I mean, maybe he has. Not that I recall. He's not playing. On the Giants. Okay, there we go. Malcolm Smith playing for the Browns, eh?
Yeah, so Dallas needs five specific results to make it in because they do play the Giants.
Or multiply those probabilities together. Even if it's 1 out of 2, that would be 4, 8, 16, 24, 48. Oh, just 24 rather. Or sorry, 32. 32. What am I doing? I can't even multiply anymore. Wow, there's a challenge here. How could you turn that over? Like you're going to argue 18 got it? How could you make a ruling on that? As much as I'd like the Giants to get it, it's just unreasonable to say that there's a clear recovery. Kind of looks like Ebner has it, to be honest.
There's just not a lot to see. At least when they get on the pile, I'm not sure when they started clearing the pile off how it looked.
I don't know why there isn't a chip in the football, or a chip lining, so they know where the nose is and where it crosses. and then like a digital line of where the chains are, and then maybe even chips in the gloves too. You know, I don't know. It just it's technology could be used to be our friend here, and they have the preseason to do it next year. Yeah, I'm not surprised it isn't turned over. Joe Judge doesn't seem to agree, but I think he's picking the wrong fight to win in this game.
Well, it's tough to lose that timeout. That's another 40 seconds off the clock because of that timeout.
Why'd they throw there, Big Rye?
I think they just got cute, but there wasn't a good strategy reason to do it.
No, there's none.
Not
They're
at this
better
point
off-
of the game, being up 2 scores as well. It's like the clock's your enemy.
Well, I mean, I don't know. If anything, you could say, well, it'll never happen. If take a look at the Falcons season this year, it happened lots of times. You know what I mean? Those
Well, it happens because of dumb plays like this. Like you just
That's what I
gave
mean.
back that timeout that the Giants just wasted. So
yeah, but that's what I'm saying is
here comes a first down after that. So it is a moot point. Giants have 1 timeout left. 3:09 in this game. Almost 1 first down away from icing it.
nice job from 75 to get out there and 64.
Otis, I could care less if it's men or women. What I care about is how they got like 80-year-old guys out there reffing. Like that's what I want to know. They're out there spotting the ball and falling backwards on their heels. Like that's shit that doesn't happen to people that are younger than 40. Watching like a 70-year-old man try to spot the ball on a hurry up offense drive is priceless. So the Giants used their timeout on that last first down play.
I could go on a tirade here, Otis, but I'll keep it. I'll keep it together. You're on a tilt? Oh, it's 1 loss. Not a big deal. I'm a loser for today, but that's part of it. Considering this Giants was a make or break for me. Jake Jacobs going to cash the under. That's fantastic. I was jealous of that I didn't have the under in Miami, New England, and a close friend of mine had a lot of money on it, and I kind of jealous of that because that game was so close and that seemed so reasonable to me, but I just don't have expertise in a winning record over a large sample at picking over under, so I tend not to do it. So, but that data will be rectified in the off season this year, though. I can promise you that.
I like what Eric said. In NCAA football, the refs with the tightest close make the worst calls.
The most calls. It ain't under till it's over. That saying's been said multiple times, but I agree.
I don't even remember what the total was for this game. Was it 45.5? I think 44.5. Yeah. Well, Browns get the stop. Or
Giants.
the Giants get the stop on the Browns. So Browns have a decision to make here on 4th down. And instead of knowing what's going on in the game, we get a nice view of a plane landing. So I have no clue what's going on. But it looks like they take the clock down, use their timeout, and now I'm interested to see if they're going to keep the offense on the field. Or I don't even know, are they in field goal range? Like, I have no clue where they are in the field. This stuff pisses me off, guys, when, like, instead we're getting to see Baker Mayfield buy presents for kids with definitely the NFL has set this up because there's cameras there, and we need to see everything good that happens, apparently.
You got to know. You got to know Big Ryan. You got to know he has a heart.
Very productive day from Baker Mayfield, 27 for 32. So it looks like they are punting. It would be like a 52-yard field goal if they wanted to attempt it. I forget the name of the Browns punter. Is it Gillum?
Yeah, Jamie Gillum.
He gets the ball out quick. I agree. I agree, Moose. I am 100% supportive of them helping people out. Just does there need to be a camera there? That seems disingenuous.
Yeah.
The Scottish Hammer, best nickname in the NFL.
Yeah, probably.
He gets that thing out quick, which is pretty nice.
Close to an uh excellent punt placement.
This is lining up to be like the Eagles game where they were down 14 with 6.5 points. It's very unlikely, but if the Giants do score, will they go for 2?
Yeah, well, we've seen it enough times. It's the right math play, I believe.
Have a good night, Otis. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Otis. Catch you next time.
Yeah, the Dougie PTD and 2-point backdoor. That's what we're hoping for. There's no timeouts for the Giants. They got a minute 5 to go 80 yards. So here's Goodson lying on Lewis, another one of my pet peeves. We don't get to see the camera work here, but I want to watch the old man spot the ball.
Yeah.
It took 13 seconds for them to get that next play off. They get this one out of bounds, so the ref gets a break.
The Giants lost a game. That's really it.
Sack here does not help them out. I don't know how or why, but there's a mask on the field.
Cleveland Browns win by 14, 10-win team. And did they make the playoffs, Cleveland?
I'm not sure. That's going to put them at 10 wins, so it's going to be hard to get 10 wins and not get in.
Yeah.
They also play the Jets next week, so nothing's guaranteed, but
No.
11 wins seems likely for the Browns. I can update the contest. Fat guy, you and I are 8-7 this week.
We'll take it. Take it. Been plodding along a little bit. Should we jump on the opening line video? Get it out quick?
Yeah, we'll jump on it shortly. Just going over the leaderboard, we have 4 people tied at 11 wins. So Mad Capper, can't think of a name one. Weiss picks, as well as Cassone, all 11-4 going into the final game. So the T-shirt is on the line this week. I got a feeling at least one of those 4 teams is probably on another side, so it should be interesting. Join us for the live stream tomorrow night, guys. Whatever time Monday Night Football starts, will be on probably about half an hour before kickoff. And other than that, if you haven't joined yet, join the YouTube membership. Fat Guy and I are going to be putting out the opening line video for week 16, and it just feels like the opening lines is where the value has truly been this year. So definitely join us for that. Otherwise, thanks everyone for joining us for the live stream, and we will catch you guys later.
Why don't you tell me my hair wasn't looking good?